Yo, these dating apps are not fair for the average man. You know, I was dating a shorty one time and I took her out to a comedy show. While we were in the car though, I wanted to know what her experience was like on these dating apps. I like to ask women questions just to see their perspective or see how things are from their end. So I was asking her like, how do you go about these dating apps? Like what do you do? So I was asking her, do you ever like, go through different profiles and swipe right or look at their bios and do all that? She told me no. She said, I just go to my inbox where the inbox where all the dudes that have liked her is sitting. She said, I just go through there and whatever dude I like that liked my profile, that's what I mean, that's who I swipe right on. And I was like, so you don't really put any effort into like trying to find somebody. Like as a man, you're going through different profiles. I'm going through different profiles and I'm looking at like I have some standards, you know what I mean? So I'm not just swiping right on everything like every dude, but I'm actually going through profiles. I'm seeing like what I like about it. Like I need me a God-fearing woman. So I'm going through profiles. I'm seeing like what their religious status is. I'm looking at their height because I do not want a midget. I need me some tall, athletic children. You know what I mean? So I can't do the 5 foot, the 5'1s. I need a solid 5'6", 5'6" and up. So I'm looking at certain things. I like a woman that has something going for herself, that's actually doing something in life, has a decent job, all that kind of stuff. Because I don't want no little shorty that I gotta pay for everything. I gotta, do her nail. I gotta get her nails done. I gotta get her hair done. I gotta, pay for her food. I gotta pay for her classes. I gotta pay part of her rent. Like them sugar daddy days, those are way gone. I ain't one of them. I'm not a simp, and these simps have messed the game up for us because they have raised the bar on what men are supposed to be paying for. So most of these women be thinking that we're supposed to be paying for all this stuff when in actuality we're not. But these Sims are doing it, so they now expect it from most men. But besides that, I ain't doing all that. I'm looking to see a woman that got something going for herself. So I'm checking out profiles when I'm swiping left or right, and I'm trying to find the right woman that's best for me, that's most aligned with me. You know what I mean? If we have common interests, she like basketball, football. I'm looking at that kind of stuff. So I'm asking her, I'm like, yo, do you look at that kind of stuff? Do you go through profiles and see like what their bio says or things that they're interested in? She was like, no. I just swipe left or right on the guys that like my profile. I'm like, bro, you put no effort in then. Like you're not really searching to find any like you're not really searching to find the dude that's best fit for you. So I came to the realization that most of these women are lazy on these apps, which is why guys don't really get likes like that. They don't get profile likes. That's part of the reason, and the other part is that so many men swipe on their profile that it inflates their ego. So these could be basic, average looking women, but so many men like their profile that they start getting out of touch with reality and start thinking that they look better than they really look. Like, shorty, you don't look that good. You don't look that good. A man that they probably should be with, they'll hit the X on or they'll swipe left on because they feel like they can do better. So because they feel like they can do better, they go out of their range and swipe right on the men that they know they have no business swiping right on. So that's why that's why there's the concept of the top 10% of men are the ones that women are swiping on, that most women are swiping on. And it's mainly because they have so many men in their DMs or so many men that like their profile that they start thinking that they can do better. Like in reality though, half of these shorties, nobody's even talking to them. Nobody's shooting their jumper at them. When they go to the store, nobody's saying nothing to them. When they go to school, nobody's saying nothing to them. When they at the library, nobody's saying nothing to them. But on the dating apps, It's false reality. Like they think they look better than they really do. I'm like, and I try to tell them like it's just dudes swiping. Like most dudes are just swiping right on anything because most of us have low standards and most of them are probably just trying to hit. And it don't take a lot for a dude to want to hit. Just have a decent shape. Don't look like you're a one on the don't look like you're a one on the scale on the on the beauty scale. And most men are probably tap it. You know what I mean? Don't take a lot for a man. So most guys are swiping right. So you shouldn't be allowing that to inflate your ego because it doesn't really say much. You know what I mean? And men are very like superficial. Like we look at looks and it don't take much for a man to sleep with a woman. You know what I mean? So I don't know. These women are out of touch with reality. So it pushes them to only swipe on a select few of men. When you have so many options, you can become a lot more selective. So that's why most of these women um are not swiping on anybody because they have so many to choose from that they have actually shrunk the pool of men that they actually choose to swipe right on. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's difficult. It's difficult for us. It's difficult for men. I say, man, you just gotta stay in the game, be patient, wait for the right one. The right one to come by, man. I don't worry about females that aren't messing with my face card. If you don't like my face card, there's plenty of other women that do. I go to the club and I got women staring at me. I go to the gym, I got women staring at me. You know what I mean? So if there's a girl that doesn't like the way I look, I move on. I'm not, not everybody's meant to like me or like my looks, and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I want to choose people that are choosing me. So that's how we all should be operating. We should be choosing people that choose us. Whether that's a woman that we're trying to date, a man we're trying to date, or friends that we're picking. You know what I mean? Choose people that choose you. Make those people a part of your life. I don't worry myself with trying to make people that aren't cool with me, don't really like me. I don't need a big friend group. I need a small few solid people that really mess with me, that are loyal to me, and I can count on. That's all I need. That's all I need. I'm a solo dolo individual, anyways. You know what I mean? I'm an introvert, extrovert. I don't like being around a ton of people. I don't like having to talk to a ton of people. I'm a chameleon though. So if you put me in that environment, I can still thrive. Most people actually think I'm extroverted, but I would say I'm a little more introverted. But in the meantime, I say that you have to do both. You have to play the dating app game, but you also should be doing the cold approaching. You should still be approaching women in public. You know, I've always a lot of the women that I have dated didn't come from dating apps. My long term relationships came from women that I met out in public, met at the bar or something like that. They were staring at me. They gave me that inclination that they were interested. So, I approached them. Hey, how you doing? Where your boyfriend at? I always ask that. Where your boyfriend at? I always ask that question, you know what I mean? Just to see what they say. See if they say, "Oh, I don't have one," then that gives me the green light to do what I do, to, run that little mouth. But I do both because dating apps are almost necessary. So you can't fully get rid of them because of just as you get older, you're just not in situations where you're surrounded around women all the time. Like I go to work, I go to the gym after work, and then I may play basketball. Then I come home, I make dinner, watch some football or some basketball or something, and then I'm KO. So in that whole day, I'm not really in a situation where I'm around a ton of women. I've shot my jumper a few times at women in the gym because that's one of the few times in the day I'm actually surrounded by women. I got a decent physique. If they staring at me, you know what I mean. That's giving me the green light. So there's only so many places you're really around women as you get older. Um, when I was younger, when I was in college, it was I didn't need dating apps because I was around women all the time. I was in the bar every weekend. I was in the club every weekend. You know what I mean? I was going to school. I'm surrounded by women. I got women in my classes. I lived down the street from the sororities and the fraternities. My roommates were in a fraternity. So I was always around parties. I was always around women. So there was no need for a dating app. But as you you grow up, you become grown. You got responsibilities and things to do, and you don't really have the time to meet women like that. I don't go to the bars as much like that anymore. I go to the bar maybe once a month, if that. So, and even when I go to the bar, I'm not necessarily going, and looking to pick up on women. I'm really going to relax, to chill. Like, it's been a long week of work. I'm just trying to drink a Corona with a lime. I'm just trying to relax. You know what I mean? If a, if a shorty approach me, then yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. But I'm not on a search like that anymore, man. I'm not doing a whole bunch of walking up to women. What are you drinking? Let me buy you a drink. I'm not doing that no more. Nah, that's dead with the birds. I wait for a girl to give me signs, give me cues that she's interested, and then I may do the cold approach if I'm really feeling it. Um, so you got to do both. You got to still do the cold approach, but you can still play the dating app game, even though the dating app game is just, it could be annoying, it could be draining. You could talk to these women, then all of a sudden the conversation dries up and you guys aren't talking anymore. So it's that whole thing of people ghosting. So you just got to get cool and comfortable with how dating is today. It's just modern dating today. And work it to your advantage. Try to do the best you can with it. Be patient. In the meantime, while you're waiting to meet that guy or meet that woman, just work on yourself. Try to become the best person you can for that future partner. Focus on creating happiness for yourself. Focus on getting a better job. Focus on doing things that you enjoy doing, because happiness comes from inside. It starts with you. There's nobody out here that's going to make you happy. And you don't want to have to rely on other people to make you happy. I don't want nobody to rely on me to make them happy. That's why when a girl says, "Oh, if a girl says to me, 'Oh, I'm not happy,' or whatever," I'm like, that's a you problem. Like, it's not my job to make you happy. Like, you should be happy from within, and that should exude into our relationship, our partnership. But it shouldn't be on me to make you happy, because happiness is a fleeting emotion. So every time you're not happy, you're gonna be bringing that up to me. Nah, nah, nah. That's your responsibility. You know what I mean? So focus on making happiness for yourself, and allowing that to penetrate into your relationships. But I thank you guys for checking out this video. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more, talking about dating apps, because there's such a necessity, almost a necessity today, if you're really trying to meet somebody, especially if you're grown and you got a busy schedule. But yeah, I'm gonna have more videos coming on the way. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.